In this episode, we talk with Clayton Mehlbauer, the founder of Stellar Baseball. In this episode, we talked to him about what it's like to create a baseball startup brand. We got the inside scoop on how he designed these batting gloves and how he's developing new products to help players of all ages. If you want to know what it's like to create a baseball brand, this is the episode for you. Let's jump into this episode of the Brolletts.
Guys, before we jump into today's episode, I got to tell you about our new sponsor. It is Stinger Sports. Guys, I got to tell you what I love about these guys. So first, I met Brandon, the founder of Stinger, through a mutual friend. We had him on the podcast. It's one of my favorite episodes. Make sure that you go and check it out. But we've developed not only a bit of a friendship, but now a partnership where we want to introduce everyone on the world to Stinger Sports because they make incredible athletic gear at an affordable price. And this is what I really love, because if you're a parent, you know how expensive gear is getting, how expensive uniforms are getting. And these guys make affordable stuff that is pro level quality. Right now, Colt is using one of their gloves. I mean, this thing is sick. Look how customized that is. And he's using this in 13U baseball right now, which is amazing. And then we also brought them on as a uniform sponsor. Look at these custom Stinger Sports Brolette jerseys. How cool are these? And the best thing, they're not just for baseball. So baseball, soccer, volleyball, whatever that you need, they can equip you. But on the baseball side specifically, what I love is they will equip you with fully customizable jerseys, but also the pants, the hats. They will also get you the ancillary stuff like batting gloves or team backpacks or anything that you need. And they have packages that make it affordable for any family. Guys, you got to check out Stinger Sports. I will put the link in the description. Check these guys out. Make sure you tell them that the Brolets sent you. And please, please, please support our sponsors here. Check out what they're doing. Big fans of Stinger Sports. Now, let's jump into this week's episode.
We're just coming out of our summer All-Star season, which was one of the highlights of your career, AU All-Stars. What was that time in your life like?
Growing up, when I was 8, making the All-Star team, that's really when I fell in love with baseball. And that's kind of, I would say at the age when I was like, I want to play professionally. I want to, make it to the big leagues. That's when I really fell in love with the game. And, lo and behold, all these years later, that's kind of where Stellar really got the inspiration from.
So we're going to talk about your journey after 8 years old and, playing college ball, playing some pro ball. But right now, like, you're wearing the Stellar hat and it's got a really cool star on it. And that's kind of the meaning behind the brand. And so, as someone now who's, looking back on your playing days, like, what was so significant about, that those younger years, that made you be like, you know what, that's the brand. Like, that's what this game is all about.
Those younger years was probably when I played just the most free and pure baseball of my career. I didn't care about stats. I didn't care about who was watching me. The parents and the fans were there, and I always had this feeling of like, I want to show off for the people that are there watching, but it was never worried. I didn't care about striking out. I didn't care about making errors. It was just like the most pure form of baseball that I played. And that's kind of, I got back to that point at points in my career later on. But that's kind of when things, that's just why I picked Stellar and I picked the star, was because when I was thinking of the brand name and the logo and everything, I went through so many ideas. It took me probably 2 months to pick something. And I realized quickly, like, when you see the big brands like Nike and Oakley and all these, Apple, it's like, the brand means something to the people. It's not just another product. And so that's kind of, and if it wasn't meaningful to me, then I knew I wouldn't be able to grow it.
Okay, so after All-Stars, you played high school and college ball for Bellarmine University. What was that like?
My freshman year of high school, I weighed probably 100 pounds, 5'6", maybe, real small. Played on the freshman team. I played shortstop. I couldn't really hit very well in high school, honestly. The whole reason I got recruited and made it to college because I had a good glove. I played good defense. So I didn't really I didn't start every game until my senior year of high school on the varsity team. So I went to a all guys private high school. So it was a big school. I think they have like 50 or 60 kids trying out these years now. So I played freshman ball freshman year, and then JV my sophomore year. And then junior year, I kind of played, every other game depending on who was pitching and stuff. And then it wasn't until my senior year that I really played every game. So high school was kind of, I struggled in those years with the confidence and the self-belief thing. I really did. And then once I got to college, they kind of took a chance on me, really. Shout out to LO and Nick Eversole. Those are my two coaches from Bellarmine that kind of got me there. And once I got to college, I knew that if I was ever going to play a lot, I had to get bigger and stronger. I was eating all the time, and then I had to hit. So I hit every single day that I could, pretty much. I was always in the cage for early work, and my freshman year, I actually played behind a Gold Glover who was a senior. He won the Gold Glove the year before. He was a senior. He had played every single inning of his college career, so I got to learn a ton from him, and I knew that coming in. So it worked out well for me. And then my sophomore year, I was kind of in a position battle with one of the older guys, and made it eventually to the winning the starting spot, and played 4 years of shortstop there. And that's kind of how my experience was, through high school and college.
After college, you played 3 years of pro ball. How did the opportunity come around?
So I knew I wasn't going to get signed or drafted, and I wanted to keep playing. I wanted to try to play some indie ball and see if I could eventually sign. So I got a tryout with the team in Lexington in the Atlantic League. They needed an infielder. I think I was really only supposed to be there for 2 weeks, and then I ended up just sticking it out with them for the rest of the season. And then, made a relationship with that manager and ended up going with him the next year. And then that's kind of a whole other, my journey from then on is a whole other story. But
you got to play with a bunch of MLB guys too, like Pablo, Sandoval, and Chris Davis. What did you learn about the game and life from being around those guys?
Chris Davis, I was around him more, so I really got to learn a lot more from him. I remember him telling me, if you want to do this, you can't have a plan B. You have to be all in. And really just what I learned from those big leaguers was they rarely got mad. Like, they might get frustrated with the umpires and stuff here and there, but they never got mad for getting out. It was, they always knew that they have 4 at-bats the next day and they got to keep their head on straight. And so being able to be around those guys who had been playing for a long time taught me a lot. And it was something that I wish I had learned when I was in college, because I used to get I wanted it so bad. I wanted to be successful so bad that I would get pissed when I got out. And so, just kind of being able to keep your head on straight. So when you're struggling and you get out of it, you're ready to go and ride that hot streak for as long as you can. Pablo, so I only played with him for about 2 weeks, and that was really cool because he was just like the ultimate competitor. And he actually, I don't know if you guys saw, he pitched a game against Lancaster. I think it kind of blew up a little bit, so you guys might have saw it, but he pitched, and it was kind of one of those things like, oh, he's a position player or whatever, but like, he treated it serious. He wanted to have success. He wasn't going out there just to, say that he pitched. Like, he wanted to win the game. And that was one of the things I learned from him, was like, those best players, the guys who make it to the big leagues, they just win. Like, they do all the little things, they do the right things, and they just win, and they're competitive. And so it was cool to see that live. And and it was like he was pitching, he was changing speeds and hitting locations, and it was fun to watch.
It's really cool, man. There's so many correlations, I'm sure, there are correlations between that and like life and now business too, right? Like we want to win. We want every launch and every drop to be a sellout. That doesn't happen every single time. We want to win every deal. We want to win every, call that we have. And, the other side is like, you want to take everything like seriously, and you want to get better and you want to compete. And so you get out of your playing days and you start a baseball brand, right? Like, I think this is so many, like every kid like dreams of that. Like, you know what? I should start this. And like, what actually made you say, you know what? Like, I'm actually going to do this? Because so many people dream about it. They think about it. They have those daydreams of what could be. You stopped playing and you started building a brand. Like, that's really cool.
I read that one book that I mentioned before, and I was kind of started to get interested in business around COVID time, when I was spending, a lot of time at home and you're kind of on your phone, and I start seeing stuff about e-commerce. And so I really got interested in business then. And, 4 years later, and I started in 2024, I finally just, if I'm going to do this, like, I'm just got to be bought in and I'm going to do it. And, it's something that I'm really passionate about, and I genuinely believe that I can have success with it. And, I'm just going to keep grinding and going and until it, doesn't make sense anymore, I guess, which I'm confident that I'm not going to get to that point. So, yeah, just kind of having the knowledge and the confidence to continue to grow and, do the right things. I got degrees in accounting and finance, so I kind of have a little bit of background in that. So I'm confident that I can, do the right things and hopefully make it work.
Did you have any like mom and dad entrepreneurs, any buddies, or is this just something like, scrolling TikTok and starting to see all these young kids starting e-com brands, or like where'd the bug come from, man? Because I don't see it as like taking a risk. I think starting your own business is one of the, the most powerful, empowering things that you can do, giving yourself that agency to know that you can do it. But where did that confidence come from in you to say like, you know what, I am going to do this?
The thing that really sticks out, I came across a TikTok of the Dave Ramsey show, and it was a kid who called in there. He's like, I'm 16 years old. My mom would kill me if she knew what I was doing, but I've got $300,000 in my PayPal account or some account, and I don't know what to do with it. So he's asking for this advice, and I'm like, man, if a 16-year-old can figure something out like this, like, there's no reason I can't. I feel I'm just as capable or just as smart of, being able to try to do something. So that's really when it hit me. I was like, let's just go for it. So
how did you decide on batting gloves as a first product?
So when I was reading that book, 12 Months to a Million, he talks about picking a customer and all the different things you can do, whether it's a pain point or something new to like a new product or whatever. So I'm thinking, I love baseball. I played baseball my whole life. I know all the products, what makes a good product, what makes a bad product. So I decided to make a baseball player be my kind of my customer. And I always had an issue with batting gloves in college and stuff, and ripping them very quickly. And obviously, with some of the new brands out there, durability is kind of a big thing. And I just personally, I kind of felt like there's still improvement, I think, to be made, even with the new companies that are kind of, catching fire. And so that's kind of why I picked batting gloves. And, eventually I would love to, do hats and sweatshirts and t-shirts. I got protective guards in production right now. So I'm, going to be dropping those hopefully within the next month or so. And so just kind of being around the game and loving baseball, that's kind of why I picked batting gloves. When I was in college, I would buy the cheapest pair I could find because I knew they were going to rip in a couple weeks. And so, I kind of wanted to take some of the best brands of batting gloves on the market and combine them into what I feel like is one that has all the best qualities that you'd want to have. So,
how did you go about getting the first pairs of samples made? What are some mistakes or lessons you learned along the way?
So I started out, I got a 3D design from Fiverr. I got on Fiverr and found a 3D design, and then I sent that to, I sketched out, told the designer what I wanted it to look like, and then once I got the 3D design, I sent that to a manufacturer that I found, and so I got my first order of gloves. I think I got like 10 or 15 pairs of gloves, and from there were some tweaks and some changes to be made. And the next order that I did, and this is where I, had a big learning curve. I think I ordered like 100 pairs of the next round after making, getting in contact with the manufacturer, telling them, hey, I want this, this, and this. Well, when those came in, after making the changes, there still were like a little bit of issues with them, whether it was the threading was ripping or the straps weren't good or whatever. So I was like, okay, learn that lesson here. I'm not making a big order like that until I get the product 100% where I want it to be. And I'm confident, like I would be confident giving these to somebody and telling them these are going to last you for, 3 months hitting every day.
Can you show us a pair of Stellar batting gloves and walk us through what makes them great for players?
Yeah, so we got the white ones right here. So these are so my thing with like I was saying earlier, kind of combining some of the top brands. I like the way that Franklin's feel. I like how they're snug, they're breathable, they're tight. In my experience, I would rip them, quicker than I would like. So I wanted to kind of take like a Franklin feel and add durability to it, kind of like a Bruce Bolt. Personally, I kind of felt like Bruce Bolts may be a little thick. They're really expensive, all the things. So with these, it's we've got the extra padding in the wear areas between the pointer finger and the thumb, and then right here on this part of the palm, and then just on the back, it's a mesh kind of material. So I sweat a ton, so when and you guys know when you sweat through gloves, they get crusty, and it's just I learned to start keeping them in plastic bags to keep them from getting crusty, but then they're always like soggy. And so, with these, it's hopefully they're not as thick on your hands and you're not sweating through them as quickly or, so that's kind of the deal with the gloves. And, I'm happy with kind of the product that I've got now. So
love it. And talk about you got the branding on there too, right? So we got the Stellar logo, the Stellar, like some of that stuff. And show it off, man. Like that's really cool. Yeah. So you got it on the back stuff.
I got the bursting star. I had a guy on Fiverr do for me, and then I've kind of this logo I kind of have done myself. I thought it would be cool to put the star where the A was, and so that's kind of I did that one on my own. I thought that was pretty clever, but
what it's you sound like you took a lot of time like putting a lot of the pieces of the puzzle together here. Like, what did you learn just even about like batting gloves, like as you went through this, like to know like the sweat stuff? Was that just something that was in your head going into design, or like, all right, I'm testing it, I'm sweating through it, man, we need to make this more sweat resistant. Like, what did you even just learn through this process? Like, like it's funny. We ask questions like this and like all of a sudden you become like a batting glove expert and like knowing materials and things that you never thought you would probably be an expert in.
Right. So I've worked with 3 different manufacturers now. So the first gloves that I got, I liked the way that they looked, and I was actually it's taken me almost a year to get to the point that we're at. So I had guys in High Point where I was playing in last summer, helping me with testing the gloves and letting, hey man, this isn't working, or hey, these are ripping already in this spot. And so it's just been a lot of kind of trial and error and getting them to the point that they're at now. So one thing I'll point out is that I never really kind of thought of. So this spot right here on my original gloves, the leather went all the way. And it would get so tight right there that it was hard to get them on your hand. And then that seam would rip easily, just putting them on. So that was kind of one of the things, as a consumer, you're not ever paying attention to. It's, you see, am I ripping the strap off easily? Am I ripping the palm easily? It's kind of those things, but it's, just those, think little things like that I never thought about. And then with the breathability and stuff, that was kind of one of the things that I wanted to go for from the start. Just because, when you get gloves that are thicker or heavier, and they're hot, gloves are hot and you're going to sweat through them. So of course, always trying to keep them. Baseball's in the summer, so trying to stay cool is the name of the game half the time. So that was the breathability was kind of just from the get-go.
Do you remember the first person other than yourself that tried on the gloves?
One of the guys that I was working out with in the off season, Ray Zuber, he's actually playing in the American Association with Lake Country. I think he probably hit with him with me. Actually, I don't know if that's right or not.
It's still a good story. Yeah, it doesn't have to be exact. Just like some of those early memories, like I know like when we first got like the sunglasses in, you're just like, man, we got to show it to somebody. We got to give it to somebody, right? And I'm sure in your case too, like you want some people to hit with it and feel it and touch it.
It might have just been the guys in High Point once I got to High Point, because I got my first order of gloves like a couple weeks before I left for spring training. So it might have just been the team, some of the guys in High Point that were helping me out and telling me, I like them or don't like them. Everybody at the beginning said they were comfortable. It was just kind of a matter of, all right, how are they going to perform?
One of my favorite questions is asking about your first sale. Do you remember the first person who ordered from you?
I do. So I did, my first drop was in June last year, and it was actually one of my buddies who I played college summer ball with in 2019, Brock Randalls. He's working, he kind of bounces around, travels a lot for work, but he bought a pair and an arm sleeve, and he just kind of did it as like hey man, it's cool what you're doing and I want to support you. So that was, I think I have a screenshot on my phone of that first order, because before I opened it up and saw who it was from, I was like, dang, let's go. First order, this is awesome. And then I saw it was a buddy and I was like, man, so I'd call him up and told him thanks. And so I do remember that very like it was yesterday.
No better feeling in the world than, a friend, but anyone on the internet who pulls out their credit card and gives you money. Like there's no better feeling in the world than seeing a Shopify notification come through.
It's very cool, especially when it's people that you don't know, because it's like, okay, I'm reaching people. They're, willing to kind of take a chance on a new company, a new product. And I love getting, especially people that I don't know. It makes me like, okay, this is cool. And hopefully I can make a, connection with them and, give them the trust to continue to come back and keep buying stuff. So
One thing that caught our attention was how you're creating daily videos and building in public. What made you decide to film and document the journey on social media?
the Instagram reels, I think, are the best way to kind of get exposure to people who don't follow you. And I saw a golf brand that was kind of doing a similar thing on TikTok, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to try this and just kind of see where it goes. And my first video got a couple thousand views, and I was like, okay, like I'm going to keep doing this. And so I think my 2 videos that I've done the best were like days 4 and 5 or 5 and 6. And those are, 15,000 views, which is, to me, I'm like, dang, I'm going viral. I saw the golf brand do it, and I was like, I'm going to give this a shot. And so that's kind of where it's why I started doing that. And I've had, more success with it than some of the other stuff I've tried. So
Yeah, I think especially in the early days, obviously organic social is a great way to connect, right? Like Facebook ads or meta ads, like it's a little unknown, it's a little scary, like you could lose a lot of money real quick, and this creates a great connection. You were mentioning earlier that it's probably the best marketing strategy you have right now, right? Is these kind of day in the life videos. Why anything else that you've tried like on the marketing side, and then also just on the creation side? I think a lot of people are scared to do what you're doing because maybe, well, I didn't get a sale today. Like, what am I going to show people? Or like, I didn't, some days it's just boring. You're just like editing stuff in Shopify. So like, how do you approach it? And like, talk us through like, even like filming, editing, like just give us a little inside baseball into what that looks like for you.
it can be discouraging when I'm like, man, I'm spending hours making these videos and I'm not getting much traction. But it's just kind of, sticking with it. And I have a vision and see, I think I can be successful with this. So you just got to stick with it. And, Rome wasn't built in one day. So that's kind of the thing I'm always reminding myself is with brands, baseball brands like this, I think it's hard to go viral, like posting products and stuff. So it's just the little wins every day that you just got to stack. And, the same with your baseball career, going to practice, hitting every day. It's stacking days, and you got to do the little things right and just keep improving and keep progressing. So that's kind of what was the other part to that question?
Yeah, just even like filming, editing process, you doing everything with your phone, you doing CapCut. Like-
Yeah, so the filming, I'd film everything with my phone and edit it myself, mostly just in TikTok because it's pretty an easy interface. And then I can kind of take that TikTok video, will save to my phone, and then I can post it to my other places. So yeah, or I love it when people send me stuff of them hitting in my gloves, and I can post them myself. I'm messaging a couple guys who I've sent gloves to, like, hey man, like send me some video of you hitting on the field, hitting BP. I had a guy from Oral Roberts, Cooper Combs. He was great for me because I was getting tons of content from, him wearing my gloves. I'm sure if you go through my Instagram page, you'll see him on there somewhere at some point. And he sent me a video of him taking BP. I think it was at Arizona, maybe on when you play in college, you get there the night before the Friday night series and take BP and practice and stuff. And so he sent me a video of him hitting BP, and that video did pretty well for me on TikTok. So just any baseball related stuff that I can think of and get out there and post is kind of what, how I get that stuff. And just editing it, doing everything on my own, editing it in TikTok or Instagram and just posting it.
What were some of the hardest parts about starting Stellar that you never imagined when you started the business?
Probably the first time that I've sent a bank wire to get a glove order. It was like, once I send this money, like, it's gone.
I hope I get gloves. I hope they show up.
Exactly. You have to trust, like that's business. And doing a bank wire and filling out the form and stuff. It was kind of a headache at first, and now obviously I've got a business bank account that I run everything through, and I'm, made that process a lot quicker and easier, and filling out the form and, knowing, all right, I can walk into my bank and hand them the form and sign the paper and I'm done, instead of going in and getting the form and writing everything and it being a whole process. So just kind of, learning as I go on that. That was probably like one of the scarier, things at first.
It's scary from like multiple angles, right? A, there's the unknown, but B, it makes it real, right? Like, I'm doing it. Like, I'm sending all this money up. I guess we're starting a batting glove company, like there's no turning back at that point.
100%. Because there's, usually when you can send a Venmo to a friend and it's easy, but when it's like, oh, I have to go into my bank to send money, like you said, it's real. So
You're already starting to expand in protective gear and hats. What does the next step in building Stellar look like for you?
dropping those products, taking the money that I'm hopefully making from those and buying more inventory. The protective gear seems, I've high hopes on the protective gear. It seems like I've had a lot of interest in that. So just being able to kind of scale up as I go. I've got a whole list of, I've got the gloves and the hats and the arm sleeves. I'll do the protective gear. I want to get into sliding mitts. Just a lot of really any baseball apparel kind of. I love the short sleeve hoodie. I think it's a great look.
That's his favorite thing.
It's very comfortable. I got a short sleeve hoodie when I was playing in a college summer league, and I fell in love with it then. So I want to do the short sleeve hoodies. That's, on the definite list, and BP tops, things like that. Just getting anything baseball, really. I mean, I've thought about belts and, the slides and all of that stuff, but just kind of taking it one step at a time and, figuring out what makes the most sense.
Well, I think it's cool, like from a business standpoint too. And I know with the 12 months to $1 million book and like things like that is like, with the protective gear, well, now you have packages, right? Get instead of just buying a pair of white gloves, why don't you get the white gloves and the white elbow guard and the white, toe tap? Like now you're starting to, raise customer average order values and things like that, which is going to help you cash flow the business, in a different way too, and make your customers, have a deeper experience with you as well. If they're rocking Stellar head to toe, that's a great, identity for these players.
I'm weird. I wanted all my gear to be the same brand. Like I wanted to have Nike shoes and Nike gloves and a Nike sleeve, Nike guards or Jordan. So now it's like, I would love to see a kid rocking, my elbow guard, hand guard, leg guard, batting gloves, arm sleeve. Like I cannot wait for the day that I have pictures of guys rocking my stuff and they're decked out and all the the colors are all coordinated and stuff. I love seeing the guys on TV, like Acuna and, I'm trying to think, Vlad Jr., Aaron Judge, like they're all got the sick Jordan elbow guards and stuff and the different colorways. And that's kind of the vision that I see is you can't really get that unless you're a professional player getting, you have these huge deals with these companies. I think it would be cool to, be dropping the colorways for kids to be able to, rock all of it.
We talk with a lot of young athletes who want to start businesses. What's the advice you'd give them to help them during the early days?
Believe in yourself, have a passion about your product and your company and what you're doing. And it's not going to be easy, and you got to stick with it. If you're serious about it, you have to stick with it.
Yeah. Confidence and consistency, just like in baseball, man, like sometimes it's process over results because results don't always come overnight, but it's that consistency. It's showing up daily, doing the work that and then it creates those moments along the way. Like you said, like having the guy, at Arizona, rocking your stuff and taking BP, seeing the kid head to toe in stellar, but it's those days of just showing up that lead to those big victories.
It's not going to happen overnight.
As much as we want it to, it doesn't work that way.
Definitely.
If you had unlimited budget for creating content and growing your brand, what would you spend it on?
Probably marketing. I actually haven't spent any money on marketing yet. Marketing, more inventory, getting an MLB player probably, or some influencers, baseball influencers and stuff, just to kind of be able to work with other people, because I feel like a lot of what I'm putting out is just me saying, hey, these are good batting gloves, but if I had other people saying it too, then I think that would be a quicker to get it going.
We'll love that. We've come to the part of the interview where he's going to shoot some rapid fire questions your way, some about the playing days, some about the brand. So just first thing that comes to mind, and I'll let you take it away.
What's your favorite pregame meal?
It used to be Jimmy John's sandwich. It was like a turkey, the slim turkey, whatever that one was. Light on the stomach, but good. Good fuel.
Good fuel for the game.
Coolest place you've gone to play baseball in?
In the Atlantic League, I mean, all those stadiums are pretty cool. Staten Island, you can see Manhattan across the bay. So that, when the game's over and we're getting dressed to get it back on the bus, you come up from the clubhouse and look across and see all the lights. That's pretty cool. I got to play in the Bats AAA for the Reds here in Louisville. That field is, very nice. So probably those two places.
What's your favorite thing in the Stellar collection so far?
It's probably gonna be the protective gear. The protective gear or these white gloves. I just like the clean look, and I'm excited about being able to kind of hopefully really get off the ground after a year or so. So
nice.
What's the best advice you've ever gotten from a coach or mentor?
For hitting, let's just say for hitting, watching the ball. It's the most cliche answer, but if you're not seeing it, you're not gonna hit it. I met Nick Swisher, and I asked him that exact question, what's one piece of advice you'd give a hitter? And he said, if you're struggling, you got to watch the ball, because you're probably not seeing it if you're not hitting well.
Nice. Cliche advice is cliche for a reason, man. It's because it works.
Yeah.
Who's your dream athlete club?
I've seen you guys ask this question before, so I came prepared. I have a few guys in mind, just because I like the way they play the game, and I think it's kind of what, I'm trying to promote with my brand. So I thought of Corbin Carroll, Bobby Witt Jr., Lawrence Butler, Ellie De La Cruz. Those guys, they play fast. They're fun to watch. Pete Crow Armstrong. If I could ever work with any of those guys, that would be really cool.
Nice. Can't tell you're a shortstop at all. The flashy shortstop, man. I love that.
Who's your favorite baseball creator right now?
I'll go with a guy that you guys probably haven't heard of. My buddy Zach Bridges. He's on the Firefighters and the Savannah Bananas. I played with him in Charleston. So he doesn't post as much content as a lot of the other guys, but he's kind of getting out there now. And he did a video when they played in Boston that was pretty cool. Asking who all his teammates think of when they're on the field at Fenway, what Boston player they think of. So shout out to Zach Bridges.
Nice. Good answer.
In 5 years from now, looking back, what would make Stellar a success?
Being able to do that full time, being able to, that be like my, main and only source of income, and kind of being able to, do that. And then I think it would be cool to start a team and a facility and kind of get into coaching one day. So I think those two things would be pretty cool that would be like a major success, I would say.
Man, what a great answer, man. This was a blast getting to know you, getting to know your story. We're excited to be, one of those creators who's using your stuff and shooting some videos and sending them your way soon. And man, this was just awesome. We'll send a bunch of people. Obviously, we'll link up the website, social media. I'm also going to link up 12 Months to 1 Million. Great book. I texted you. I'm like, when this episode comes out, we should do like a giveaway, like give one away to somebody. I'll hit up Brian too. But man, thanks so much for doing this, man. Like I love just you telling your story and getting it out there. And again, I think you're at the stage where like connecting with people one-on-one is like, as hard as it is, like that's how the movement is going to be built.
100%. 100%. That's what Ryan says in his book too. It's about the relationships and making the connections. And, I can't thank you guys enough for having me on. And I enjoyed talking to you and getting to know you guys more. So good luck with your career, Colt, and just keep, stacking days and, do your thing, enjoy it. It goes by quick. So,
Yep. Thank you.
Love it, man. Thanks again. Wish you nothing but the success, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, guys.